Report, 27%. Chapter 111. Battlefield Rules, Sons and Daughters Farewell, Arrival. The world battlefield has opened. When Suzy heard this, his pupils shrank. Young master. Xiao Wanqing also received a promotion from world battlefield. However, her territory has been completely bound to Suzy's territory, which also means that the two will enter the world battlefield together without being separated. Fine. Suzy waved his hand. No fear in my heart. There is only endless expectation in the expression. Certainly, all this stems from its own strength. Not long after going out, Xiao Wanqing walked out of the room in a blue palace dress. Suzy felt that Xiao Wanqing, who was wearing the blue palace attire, seemed to have a touch of aloofness in her expression. But looking into his eyes, there was a touch of tenderness. Only she can see her shy appearance. Suzy smiled slightly. Taking her delicate little hand, she slowly walked out of the city lord's mansion. And Xiao Wanqing followed him like a little daughter-in-law. Steel walls, Sister Yanur, the battlefield of World 08 has begun. At this time, Bai Mengmeng no longer jumped out as before, and her expression was solemn. Facing the powerful families from the Universe C. No one has absolute confidence. Well, let's check what kind of rules it is. Chu Yuyan immediately asked. Bai Mengmeng quickly opened the World Battlefield Rules interface that appeared in front of him. Rule 1. You and your territory will be randomly assigned to enter a world battlefield, the number of people in each battlefield, 100 million. Rule 2. The first opening time of the battlefield is 3 days. Rule 3. During the open period of the battlefield, if you kill an enemy, you can get source crystals and source point rewards, and at the same time get all items on the life, including items in the inventory. Rule 4. The killing list on the battlefield is opened, limited to the 7th level. The 7th level is recorded as 1 point, the 8th level is 10 points, and the 9th level is 100 points. The killing list always records the killing points of each lord and ranks them, and label its location. Let's hunt for the highest position. Rule 5. All battlefield killing lists will be ranked after the end of the 3 days. Among them, the top 10,000 players with the most points in the Xiaozhu Tianjiao competition will receive world rewards. Rule 6. In various world battlefields, there will be legendary treasure chests landing, which contain the treasures you have dreamed of. Please fight for it. Rule 7. In the world battlefield, there are supreme rules covering it, and the outside world cannot see it, so please kill as much as you want. After reading the 7 rules, Bai Mengmeng and Chu Yuyan fell into a brief silence. This rule, very scary. At the same time, Suzy and Xiao Wanqing also pointed out the rules of the world battlefield. Young master, this rule is a bit cruel. It seems to encourage everyone to kill each other. Xiao Wanqing couldn't help saying after reading the rules. Suzy nodded, and said slowly, this is the law of the jungle, people who are weak, will be eaten here without even scum left. Moreover, this rule is very unfriendly to human lords. Xiao Wanqing was puzzled. Why? The fatal flaw of the human lord is the core of the territory, which is destined to prevent the human lord from moving long distances, but those alien races do not have these restrictions. Once a foreign race finds a territory, it is almost a living target on the battlefield. It is easy to fall into siege. Suzy expressed his own analysis. Hearing this, Xiao Wanqing's expression turned ugly. So the lord who enters the battlefield must try to cover up the location of his territory. Suzy has seen. This rule is completely raising GU. The strong take all, the weak lose. But the strong also have the opportunity to be hunted by the weak. Once surrounded, it is easy to be turned against the wind. Everything is possible. However, such a rule has no effect on me. Suzy smiled lightly and didn't care much. Don't worry, I'm the only one who will kill others. Seeing Xiao Wanqing was a little worried, Suzy comforted her. Xiao Wanqing nodded, full of confidence in Suzy. She knows how powerful Suzy is. World Channel, countless news flashed across. It started, the world battlefield is wide open. Countless arrogance will emerge. I hope you don't meet me on the world battlefield, otherwise you may die miserably. Cut. If you have the ability to compete, I will let you know that you are just a younger brother. Kill the turtle sons of the alien race. Let them see how powerful my human race is. Zerg Real Inc. The world battlefield is open, and the fight has not yet started. That's right, I waited for a lonely one at the end, grass. Garbage Zerg. If I meet them, I'll kill them. Good luck to everyone. You can all come back alive. This moment, the calm Xiaozhu Tianjiao battle is undercurrent surging, and an unknown number of geniuses and evildoers are sharpening their swords. Your Highness, we have come to bid you farewell. Chu Yuyan brought Bai Mengmeng to Suzy and bowed slightly. Be careful, if you are lucky enough to be assigned to the same battlefield, you can find me if you need it. Although we haven't known each other for a long time. But Susie also knows the personalities of the two women. They are all well-deserved proud daughters of the Vermilion Bird Leader. Both of them are 9th level existences, and both have legendary arms. 057. And they all come from big families and have their own heritage. So Susie is not so worried. With the aptitude of the two of them, it is not a problem to become a god in the future. Thank you, Your Highness. Chu Yuyan smiled, but the possibility of being assigned to the same world is too small. At the same time, he saw Xiao Wanqing next to Suzy. This is the girl who came all the way to find His Highness. It looks good, but its temperament is a bit cold. Like a snowdrop. I found that the girl opposite was looking at me. Xiao Wanqing nodded slightly to her as a greeting. She has always been bad at communicating with people, and she doesn't like to talk. It is also because of this that the group formed an icy temperament. Separated from the two women, Suzy called all the heroes around, and at the same time gave some simple instructions to the residents in the territory. An hour passed in the blink of an eye. When the last second is over, a reminder appeared in front of my eyes. Advent countdown. 10, 9, 87, 6.1. At this moment, countless beams of light, large and small, descended on various parts of the endless continent, creating an extremely large and spectacular scene. An incomparably huge beam of light enveloped the natural caller. Next moment, the entire territory disappeared. Report, 28%. Chapter 112. Arrival, face-to-face with Sister Ma Can. Brush. In a boundless battlefield filled with gunpowder. A giant beam of light and a small beam of light appeared at the same time. Compared with the huge beam of light, the small beam of light next to it can be directly ignored. The incomparably shining light directly attracted the eyes of those who descended within hundreds of thousands of miles around. FK, whose territory is that? Is the area of the territory open? How could there be such a large territory? My territory is not even 1% of his. Fake. Where the hell is it? It seems that a monster has entered our world. Go over and have a look. Such a big beam of light must be very attractive. Is that the territory of the human race? It's so big. It's the first time I've seen such a large territory. The territory is so big, there must be a lot of world power in it. He's mine now. Whoever dares to snatch it from me, I'm in a hurry with whoever. Just as soon as it arrived, it has already attracted the attention of countless human lords and alien races. Obviously, this is a deliberate act of the will of the world. And the two beams of light, one big and one small, finally landed on a deserted plain. The bright golden light dissipates. A territory of 4,000 square kilometers and a smaller territory were revealed. It is natural caller and elf caller. On the great wall of steel, 3 figures appeared. On the left is the goblin with her arms around Suzy, snuggling up to Suzy. On the right is Lian Wanqing, who is embarrassed and has no choice but to hold Sus's hand. The 3 slowly opened their eyes. This is the battlefield of the world. It's so lonely. The goblin's eyes looked through the steel support wall, looking at the dark and desolate environment outside. The surroundings were silent, eerily quiet. A blood moon hung high in the sky, strange and terrifying. There's nothing to see. The world battlefield is just a temporary creation, except that the world is stronger, it's just a barren land. Suzy was not surprised. Battlefield. Do you still want to have some green plants to beautify the environment? Young master, what shall we do now? Xiao Wanqing asked Suzy. Everyone, get ready first. We arrived just now, and I'm afraid it will be very eye-catching. Let's prepare our defenses first and welcome our first batch of guests. Suzy thought about it and said to them, yes. The 2 girls nodded. They know very well that now on the battlefield, Suzy's order is the only one. 4 steel walls surrounded the territory. On the wall, every 100 kilometers, there is an 8-stage pea cannon with a muzzle diameter of 10 meters, with the muzzle facing the sky. 2 pea-sized black eyes looked around vigilantly. At the same time, between these pea cannons, all of them are slim, white-haired, waist-length, and blue-eyed female sun elves, standing with bows. With the support of Suzy, Xiao Wanqing directly summoned 1,000 Sunday elves. The purpose is to take advantage of this world battlefield opportunity. Quickly reach the 9th level by yourself. To keep up with Suzy's footsteps. Moreover, these sun elves, with pure minds and wisdom, will provide Xiao Wanqing with the most quintessential power of faith. It is enough to quickly increase the speed of its belief cohesion. At the same time, Suzy will fully activate the territory feature, Blur. After a light curtain swept across the territory. The territory has completely entered the different dimensional space. Visible but not touchable. All kinds of security measures. Directly pull up. Guarantee that the enemy will only be beaten. And because Xiao Wanqing's elf territory is completely connected to Su Zi's territory. Su Zi's territorial characteristics spread over almost without hindrance. And just when Su Zi had just arranged everything in the territory, suddenly a pillar of light with a size of tens of kilometers. It came straight to the opposite side of Su Zi's territory. The distance between the two sides. Not even a kilometer. This distance. It couldn't be any closer. Light fades. A territory surrounded by pitch-black walls reveals its figure. When Su Zi looked at the territory, standing on the city wall, the female lord also found that natural territory less than a kilometer away. The eyes of the two lords meet. They all saw a trace of surprise. At the same time, in the eyes of the two, the names of the opposite territories appeared one after another. Hellcat Collar. Natural Collar. Naturally. Ha ha ha, my luck is really good. Brother and sister will avenge you today. Ma Lan suddenly laughed out loud. She didn't expect such a coincidence. After being rejected by the leader, she unexpectedly met the murderer who killed her brother in the world battlefield. Single quote. Hellcat Collar. Never heard of it. Quote. Su Zi hardly hesitated. Attack. When we meet on the world battlefield, as long as we don't know each other, we are enemies. Next moment, the 2000 P cannons are fully fired directly. Countless neutron bombs cost nothing. It poured directly towards the opposite territory. Originally, Ma Lan wanted to say something harsh to Su Zi. When she regretted killing her younger brother Ma Can, countless huge light spots fell over the territory like dumplings. Defense. Ma Lan subconsciously opened the protective cover of the territory. But the ninth order purple light shield that was just opened. The moment the light spot is ignited, countless mushroom clouds are rising in the sky. Boom, 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 countless dazzling, well done, neutron bomb. Explode on Hellcat Collar. Purple light shield. It was directly turned into countless fragments and dissipated in Kongchen. Ma Lan's eyes widened in disbelief. Not yet spoken. The high temperature of 4 to 5,000 degrees directly burned it to ashes. Nuo Da's Hellcat Collar. Advent not even half a minute. Directly eliminated. Seeing this scene, Xiao Wanqing was stunned. The legendary unit, Sun Elf, that was originally thought to be able to show its talents. Even the bow and arrow have not been drawn. The enemy has been annihilated in ashes. Clean and neat. Just rushed over from a distance. Planning to besiege the natural territory of the various alien arrogances. Seeing this scene, his face suddenly changed. Urgently stop the pace of progress. Withdraw quickly, the wind is tight. Report, 28%. Chapter 113. Under the railgun, all living beings are equal, a long-lost huge harvest. Dazzling fire. Gray-red pyrotechnic mushroom clouds rolled out in the air. Just arrived. Whether it was the lord of the human race or the geniuses of the alien race, they all chose to retreat in an instant. That human lord is too scary. Is that the mechanical department? I haven't heard that the lord of the mechanical department has come this time. I've seen the mechanical system too, but who can fire thousands of mushroom bombs at once? The machinery is also broken. This power is too terrifying. It's simply unreasonable. Stop talking, hurry up and run away before the Lord finds out. I really f***ing regret why I came to join in the fun. Are all human lords so terrifying? How can we fight? The lords and aliens who just flew here with all their strength. At this moment, he exerted his strength again and retreated in all directions desperately. Naturally, it is impossible for Su Zi not to notice the scattered lords and alien races. This kind of source crystal and source point delivered to the door. How could he let it go? Fire me the railgun. Sweep him down. Su Zi grinned ferociously. Came here to hunt him down. What a guts. 730 received the order. The eyes of the P artillerymen turned red one by one. Next moment, streams of destructive energy condensed at the muzzle. Dangerous feelings filled Xiao Wanqing's heart. Made her feel trembling all over. She seemed to understand. Why did Su Zi get the first place in the trial? Emission. At the moment when the voice fell, beams of tens of meters wide exploded at the muzzle. Sweep straight around the territory. Boom. The ground was directly overturned, drawing a series of ravines several meters deep. The air is boiling, and the hard rock is directly liquefied into small crystal particles. The attack range covers tens of thousands of square kilometers. 2,000 huge interstellar railguns, like 2,000 strong lights, directly illuminate the world battlefield. Directly transfer the land with a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers. Plowed over and over again. Countless lords brought their troops with them, and before they even turned around, they were directly vaporized by the rail guns. Countless BBEJ alien geniuses took out all their treasured defensive props, but they were all ruthlessly destroyed. Just survived a round of railgun fire. Next moment. Then a railgun swept over again. Even if some aliens wear resurrection props on their bodies. But the repeated sweeping of a full 2,000 rail guns. Destroy all their hopes. 5 minutes later, the pouring of gunfire stopped by the muzzles of 2,000 P cannons. The huge muzzle was quietly steaming. The sound of gunfire, which made people's eardrums ache, disappeared. The dazzling light. Show, press the pause button. Done. Suzy smiled lightly, satisfied with the first battle into the world battlefield. Gudong, Lord, your troops are strong. Xiao Wanqing looked at the almost ruined world, and said in an almost trembling tone. Such mighty armies. It must be too foul. It just doesn't make sense. Tens of thousands of miles away. Scattered figures emerged. It's terrible. Is this coverage really Ninth Order? A young man of a foreign race with horns growing on his head, sweating profusely on his head, looking back at the place he just escaped from. Feels like walking around the gates of hell. In his hand, there is a scrapped escape treasure, 10,000 miles no trace talisman. It can instantly teleport him to any place within 100,000 miles. Obviously, he was lucky, and successfully escaped the strike range of the rail gun. The others are roughly the same. Almost all rely on a few life-saving props to survive from the artillery fire. A terrible lord has entered the human race, and it must not be an enemy. A humanoid alien with 3 eyes patted his frantically beating heart. He had to pass the news on to his kindred. ... Which lord is that? Terrible. Hundreds of thousands of miles away, in a territory. A soul revived from the core of the territory. In the eyes of this soul, there is an inaccurate look of panic. Thinking that the distance between him and the Lord was tens of thousands of miles, his heart was filled with uneasiness. Congratulations, you have successfully destroyed the core of the 9th level, Hellcat, territory, obtained 300,000 source crystals and 10,000 source points. Congratulations, you killed 200 level 8 Hellcats and 100 level 9 Hellcats in its territory, and obtained 100,000 source crystals and 2,000 source points. Congratulations, you have obtained 3,000 killing points. Congratulations, you have successfully destroyed the core of the Magic Dog territory and obtained source crystal source points. Congratulations, kill 30,000 8th level alien races, kill 10,000 9th level alien races, and get source crystals, source points. Opening square bracket, closing square bracket. A series of lifting sounds rang in Suzy's ear. Unstoppable. There is a feeling of returning to the trial again. Listening to the pleasant voice in his ears, Suzy laughed heartily. At the same time, countless golden treasure chests gathered outside the territory. Wanner, please your sun elves, collect the treasure chest outside. Countless treasure chests are scattered all over the place, and you can't see the edge at a glance. Okay, my lord, Xiao Wanqing did not expect. Legendary units can only open some chores like collecting treasure chests. Hesitant treasure chests are too scattered. Even if 1,000 sun elves are sent out, their level is too low. It is easy to collect treasure chests at close range, but the collection speed at long distances is too slow. Suzy had no choice but to send out his 4 heroes. This is just the beginning, and the harvest is so great, we must seize this opportunity and hunt wildly. Suzy looked at the treasure chests scattered all over the place, feeling hot in his heart. The world battlefield is indeed his treasure land. Report, 28%. Chapter 114. Chi-Chi's terrifying magic talent, huge harvest, ranking of killing points. After an hour. After arms and heroes, countless times of transporting back and forth. Finally, all the treasure chests were brought back to the territory. Now, on the open space of the territory, treasure chests exuding golden light were piled up like a mountain. Young master, there are too many treasure chests. Xiao Wanqing blinked her beautiful eyes with a surprised expression. She feels like an eye-opener today. It turns out that murder can be measured in tens of thousands. It turns out that treasure chests can be piled up like a mountain. Sister, don't be surprised, this is just the master's basic operation. The little fairy smiled and said, I take good care of this younger sister who has joined the territory. Although this sister looks a little cold, but the little goblin has already become familiar with her in a short time. Knowing that she is actually cold outside and hot inside. Hearing this, Xiao Wanqing was stunned. It seems that elder sister fairy is not surprised at all. Could it be that the young master has even more brilliant achievements? Not only did it remind her of trials. What did the young master go through in the trial? Sister, can you tell me something? I want to know more about you. Of course, then master, you can open the treasure chest here, I want to chat with my sister. The little goblin pulled Xiao Wanqing's soft and boneless jade hand, and walked to the side. Go and play. Suzy waved to her. Originally, I was thinking about how to make the two get along in harmony. As a result, the two became best friends in a short time. Have to say, friendships between girls are amazing. My lord, do you need my help? Besides Suzy, Chi-Chi, wearing a black and red magic robe and holding a tiny magic wand, staring curiously at the treasure chest hill beyond the horizon. Oh, how can you help me? Suzy looked down at Chi-Chi with a smile and asked. Look at it, I promise to surprise the lord. Chi-Chi Sakura's lips parted slightly, and the corners of her mouth were smiling. Suzy showed curiosity. I saw Chi-Chi taking small steps, and quickly ran to the hill-like treasure chest. Stop. The jewel-like pupils are piercing, and there is a sense of confidence between the brows. Could it be? Suzy saw Chi-Chi raised her little arm and started waving her magic wand, at the same time she began to mutter plausibly. He seemed to think of something, and his expression was a little surprised. As Suzy expected, next second, open, Chi-Chi let out a soft drink, and then made a circle in the air with the magic wand in her hand. Next moment, a tornado actually formed from under the magic wand. From small to large, rushing into Treasure Box Mountain. Countless treasure chests were involved. Clatter. Clatter. All the treasure chests were opened, turned into little stars and dissipated, and the items inside were scattered all over the place, piled up like a mountain in place. At the same time, reminders appeared in front of Suzy's eyes. Congratulations, you have obtained 100 original items. Congratulations, you have obtained 200 source crystals. Congratulations, you have obtained 200 source crystals. Congratulations, you have obtained the building Arrow Tower Purple. Congratulations, you have obtained 100 source points. 1 inch. Congratulations, you have obtained a low-level token Purple. Congratulations, you have obtained the equipment Territory Transfer Order Blue. It's still a big harvest on the world battlefield. Suzy not only sighed with emotion, but also summed up slightly in his heart, and he had already summed up all the gains this time. 8 million source crystals, 500,000 source points. There are 35 blue quality buildings, 5 purple quality buildings, and various quality equipment. It can be said to be a good start. Suzy's face is full of joy. It took less than half a day to come in, but the harvest is enough to be called amazing. But what surprised him even more was Chi-Chi. How long has it been? She has already learned how to use wind magic. And it is very skilled in use, and its power is not bad. It is enough to fight the second-order powerhouse. It's surprising this terrible magic learning speed. Ask for flowers. It really deserves to be an unprecedented magic talent. My lord, can Chi-Chi do it? Chi-Chi put down the magic wand in her hand, and came to Suzy. Her big cute eyes seemed to be praising me non-stop. Not bad. Chi-Chi helped a lot. Suzy smiled and rubbed Chi-Chi's furry ears. Then Suzy asked Chi-Chi to continue to test whether those residents have magical talents. After a morning of testing, all rabbitmen have inherited the magic manual. As for how long it will take them to complete the practice, it is not yet known. In the afternoon, Chi-Chi will carry on the inheritance of the cat people. As for whether there will be a genius, this is temporarily unknown. I don't know how much I rank now. Out of curiosity, Suzy thought. A leaderboard data interface emerges. No. 1. Morido, Blood Demon Race, 3.78 million points. Position expandable. No. 2. Zerg Lark, 3.78 million points. Position expandable. Third place. Angel Clan Keisha, 3.78 million points. Position. Fourth place. Terran He Wushwang, 3.68 million points. Position. 9,999th place. Human Race Suzy, 1.7 million points. Location. When Suzy saw the killing points of the first few players, he was slightly taken aback. It's only been 2 hours, and the highest is already 3.78 million killing points. It's really fast. Not only did Suzy have a dignified expression. Obviously. In this killing field, there are many geniuses and monsters of all races. Blood Demon Race, Zerg Race, Angel Race, 3 major races. Each one is the overlord race in the cosmic sea. There is a supreme ruler in the clan. The strength cannot be underestimated. It seems that you need to pay attention. Suzy gradually put away her contempt and decided to take this world war seriously. I don't know who is stronger, they are my hero. Suzy is looking forward to. Then click on the location information of the first place. Report, 28%. Chapter 115. Level 90 P cannon, level 90 territory, opening the road to deification. FK, 50 million kilometers. How to fight. Susie clicked on the location information of Blood Demon Morido, but found that the distance between the two was not too far. Even if you try to fly with all your strength, you will need to be out of alignment for 3 days. Susie shook his head. If you look at it this way, there must be some other hidden rules in the world battlefield. Susie didn't believe that there would be such an obvious loophole in the world battlefield created by a group of gods. But tens of thousands of miles around have been cleaned up. If you want to get more source crystals and source points, you have to go farther. Susie frowned slightly. At this moment, the territory has become the shackles of all clan lords. It's really not possible. I can only use the territory shifting talisman I just obtained. Su, 860, Z thought for a while, and a purple talisman appeared in his hand. Territory shifting talisman. Quality, purple. Function, randomly teleport to hundreds of thousands of miles away. Times, 3/3. Introduction. I will fly with you with your territory. This territory shifting talisman is very useful, and I hope to encounter it again in the future. I secretly thought. Suddenly, steel walls. The light of evolution on P Cannon's body gradually dissipated. Evolution complete. Susie was overjoyed, and stepped in front of a P Cannon. Originally, the P Cannon was already level 78, and it was already the top of the 8th level. Taking advantage of the opportunity that came to the world battlefield this time. Kill tens of thousands of powerhouses of the 8th and 9th ranks at once. It is natural to be able to evolve. With a thought, the attribute panel appeared. Name, P Cannon. Race, plant. Level, 90. Physical, 10 million. Agility, 12 million. Spirit, 15 million. Skills: Annihilation Bomb, Cloud Explosion Bomb, Thermobaric Bomb, Neutral Bomb, Electromagnetic Gun, Interstellar Railgun, Scarlet Pillar, Destruction Cannon. Fire rate, 10,000 rounds s. Loyalty, 100% permanent. Introduction: The caliber represents justice, and the caliber plays the role of truth. The level directly enters level 90, and immediately embarks on the road to becoming a god. But how can plant arms become gods? Thinking of this, Susie not only has a headache. The other arms have wisdom. If they use the godhead, there is still a glimmer of hope to become a god. But plants, it has just evolved and is a huge P cannon with a height of 100 meters and a muzzle diameter of 20 meters. Seeing Susie descending beside him, he cried out happily. The 4 leaves under his feet kept stirring up and down. I don't understand. Susie couldn't help covering his face and sighing. Chi-Chi is not here. Who knows what it is, beeping. Put it down for now, and ask the master when you go out. After all, she is a high god, she knows more, and should be able to give some advice. All attributes have exceeded 10 million, and the potential is good. Susie nodded. As a terrible killing plant of the battlefield type, the P cannon is undoubtedly powerful. Even the 9-leaf sword grass dared not allow the P cannons to bombard it. A new skill has been added, Scarlet Pillar. As the last evolution before becoming a god, the effect should probably be good. Susie stroked his chin to guess, and then clicked on the introduction of Scarlet Pillar. Scarlet Pillar. Type. Skill. Range. 100,000 kilometers. Duration. 1 minute. Effect. Launch a huge beam of light, which can melt all targets in front of your eyes. Each launch lasts 30 minutes. Introduction. Even the ashes will not be left behind for the life it targets. The range is up to 100,000 kilometers, damn it. That's crazy. Susie's eyes lit up suddenly when he saw the terrifying range. Even the top super level magic in magic has no such range. This is the realm that only the gods can touch. Susie can't wait to find a test target for it. 20 meters diameter, 50 meters barrel length. Plus the crimson pillar. Now comes a god. Susie dared to try to see if it was him who was tough for his own firepower. He stretched out his hand and patted P Cannon's body, and there was a clanging sound of metal crashing. Since we now have 8 million source crystals and 500,000 source points, it is enough for the territory to be promoted to level 90. Let's upgrade. Just do it. Susie took out 2 million source crystals and 200,000 source points, and directly passed them into the territory. Next moment, the huge territory trembled slightly. The branches of the world tree grew crazily, and in the blink of an eye, it had reached a height of several kilometers. Susie opens the territory panel. Territory. Natural territory. Affiliation. Susie. Level. 90. Area. 5,000 square kilometers. Building. Watching pool. City Lord's mansion. Pond. Fan building. Transformation, 5,000 source crystals per day, 500 source points per day. Resident, 800. Power of faith, 400 strands per day. When the territory reaches level 90, the area of the territory has increased by 10,000.8 square kilometers. The conversion rate of mains power crystals and source points has also increased. My strength is also stronger. Suzy felt the surging power in his body, not only muttering to himself. His strength is linked to his territory, although this time it was only raised 2 levels. But the territorial area has increased by a quarter. Correspondingly, Suzy's strength has also increased by a quarter. Originally strong strength, now even more terrifying. No one can imagine. Natural caller among them, the most terrifying strength is not the arms and heroes, but its lord. The territory has entered level 90, and the road to becoming a god has officially opened. Suzy's eyes lit up. Report, 29%. Chapter 116. 10 turns into divine art, exaggerated 1 turn resources, sending again. For the Lord. Level 90 is a very special level. Different from the first 90 levels, every 10th level is a big step. After level 90, each level is approaching the gods. Other races in the cosmic sea call this step the demigod level. After the human race digitized it with the territory panel. Divided into 10 levels, also known as 10 turns. It is also known as 10 turns into God's law. Starting from level 90, each level requires a large number of source crystals and source points to be invested in the territory, making it gradually become a god's domain. Also from here, pave the way for the future. 10 turns to become a god is the highest requirement for a lord. Many lords who do not have enough resources. It's just a turn, but stop the deification of the territory. Maybe they got lucky and got away with it. But their foundation is unstable, which means their future path, and 11 ends here. The fragile god's domain cannot bear the pressure of God's domain expansion after becoming a god. Their god domain, even for other gods, just a light touch is enough to make it crumble. Most of the lords who have entered the 9th rank will choose 3 to 5 turns. In this way, even after becoming a god, it is not the weakest god, and it is possible to continue to improve. Among them, the children of the family with high talent and sufficient resources are the generation of Tianzhao. The Mets choose to hit 7 or 8 turns. When this step is reached, the resources required for each conversion of the territory. Enough to ruin a family with several gods. And therefore, many big families implement elite strategies. In a generation, only train 1 or 2 of them. Suzy has heard. The principal of the school is a lower god who has become a god after 3 transformations. Since then, there is no possibility of breaking through the middle god in his life. As for the 9 turns, that is a peerless evildoer that only those who have high gods or even higher level gods can support. 9 turns into a god, the foundation is as solid as a rock. Enough to evolve the universe. So, 9 turns. Known as the foundation of the king of gods. Suzy didn't know how many times his master turned into a god, but he was so evil. There is a high probability that it will become a god after 9 turns. If it is above 9 revolutions, it is 10 revolutions. About Shijuan, Suzy searched the school library, but couldn't find any information. He also entered the internet to search, but all information was blocked. Only in the few words between the lines, Suzy got an amazing guess. Only 10 revolutions, there is a glimmer of hope to achieve the highest. Otherwise, the universe transformed by the territory is an imperfect existence. It is impossible to truly evolve the perfect universe. That is to say, if you want to become the highest, 10 revolutions are just the foundation. But this step, even those god kings, the descendants of the god emperor's family may not be able to do it. 10 turns. I don't know if it's possible for me. Suzy looks up at the dark sky. Ambition in the heart is like wildfire rolling in the heart, gradually forming a prairie fire. He has a talent alienation that no one else has. His hero is the unprecedented superior level potential. His armies are powerful and invincible. If this is the case, there is no possibility of reaching 10 revolutions. Then Suzy really didn't know how to complete 10 revolutions. However, it is said that the higher the number of transformations, the more terrifying the test from Blue Star's becoming a god will be. If it turns 10 times, the difficulty will be skyrocketing. Suzy couldn't help trembling when he thought of the test of becoming a god mentioned in the textbook. Every lord, after condensing the godhead, they will be given a task by Blue Star. This task is completely based on the number of territory conversions. The simplest ones, even just farting, can be done. However, it is recorded in the book that a rank 7 genius was sent to the cosmic crystal wall battlefield and stayed there for a full 1,000 years. Only then did the task of becoming a god be completed. Shaking his head, Suzy stopped thinking about it. Now he hasn't transformed even a single turn, so there's no need to go that far. Based on the size of my territory, I don't know the number of source crystals and source points needed for one turn. It's too difficult for me. Suzy couldn't help but lament. He obviously has 6 million source crystals and 300,000 source points in his hand. Put it on other lords, maybe even complete 4 turns and 5 turns. But Suzy really doesn't know. With these things, can one's own territory complete a turn? Transformation. Suzy wants to try it out. But the next moment, a prompt 677 appeared in front of him. The source crystals and source points required for the territory transformation are insufficient, please replenish them in time. Seeing this message, Suzy couldn't help but smile wryly. Sure enough, it's not enough. Can you tell me how much resources will be consumed for one turn? Suzy subconsciously asked. You need 20 million source crystals and 5 million source points to change your territory. FK. Suzy's eyes turned red when he heard this. 20 million source crystals are needed for one turn, so what about Tian Xuan for 9 turns? Suzy made a calculation. I'm afraid selling him to the Zerg would not exchange enough resources. Yuanjing, Yuandian. Suzy took a deep breath, a fiery fighting intent burst out in his eyes. This little Zhu Tianzhao battle may be my only chance to obtain these resources, so I have to grasp it. At this moment, a reminder appeared in front of Su Tu. Announcement. The world battlefield will shrink, and everyone will be retransmitted. Please get ready. Transmission started. Report. 29%. Chapter 117. Legendary Treasure Chest, Angel Keisha, Contest. World battlefield. It was dark and lonely, and the blood moon was in the sky. On the top of a barren hill, a beam of red gold light shot straight into the sky. The strong light can be clearly seen even if it is tens of thousands of miles away. Countless strong men in the vicinity raised their heads to look at the beam of light. What is that? Treasure chest. The legendary treasure chest has appeared. Legendary. It is said that there must be legendary equipment inside. There may even be buildings. Grab it. If you miss this opportunity, you will regret it for the rest of your life. The treasure chest is mine. Anyone who dares to touch it will be killed by me. Great chance. It belongs to my demon clan. Die to me, it's mine. After seeing the beam of light, everyone quickly reacted. That's what the rule is called, a legendary treasure chest. There must be something legendary in it. Legendary treasure. Enough to make them work hard for it. For a while. All strong men who saw the golden beam of light rushed to the barren mountain by all means. At the same time, in a ruin tens of thousands of kilometers away from the barren mountain, a tall and slender woman exuding a sacred aura. Standing up slowly, she looked at the huge light beam rising into the sky. The beautiful eyes flickered slightly, and after a little thought, he already understood what it was. Legendary treasure chest. This is probably the first legendary treasure chest to appear. The woman's blonde long hair reaches her waist, and her silver-white armor fits close to her body, revealing her graceful figure undoubtedly. In the right hand with a black glove holds a huge golden sword. Rear. A pair of white as snow wings hang behind her. She is the angel Kesha sent by the angel family to participate in the battle of Xiaoju Tianzhao. The seed-level Tianzhao in the angel family. His cold and proud eyes calmly swept around. Corpses are everywhere, blood stained the ground. These are the demons that she just arrived and wanted to besiege and kill her. Almost completely wiped out by her without the slightest effort. With a thought, a hint appeared in her eyes. No. 1. Blood Demon Race Morido, 4.8 million points. Position expandable. No. 2. Zerg Lark, 4.78 million points. Position expandable. No. 3. Angel Clan Keisha, 4.95 million points. Location. Blood Demon, Morido, let you live a little longer. Keisha's gaze stayed on the first blood demon for a moment, and then turned off the prompt. It is said that when the treasure chest appears, there will inevitably be many people fighting for it. First, it is time to change the location. Kesha said flatly to herself. It seems that if she makes a move, the first must be hers. In fact, there is nothing wrong with that. Although she is only ranked 3rd now. But in fact, she didn't seriously kill at all. She has been chasing and killing many demons. The angel race and the demon race have been enemies for hundreds of millions of years in the universe. Now that she has met the demons here, for the glory of the angel clan, she must fight for it all. But the legendary treasure chest, even she was quite moved. Then grab the legendary treasure chest, and then hunt down Marodo. Make up your mind. The wings moved slightly behind him, making ripples in the air. Next moment, she had already appeared tens of thousands of meters away. Boom, boom. The moment her figure appeared, a series of sonic booms sounded. But she only paused slightly, and then disappeared again. The terrifying speed is enough to make people tremble. Under the barren mountain holding the treasure chest high. Suddenly 5 beams of light fell down. One of them. It is a full 5,000 kilometers. It is the largest of the 5 beams of light. Light beam dissipated. Under the largest beam of light is a verdant land filled with vitality. This is exactly natural color. TT. The other 4 beams of light also dissipated instantly, revealing 4 alien figures inside. The 4 of them looked at the figure on the natural territory city wall. It is Suzy. But Suzy didn't look at them. Instead, he looked up and saw the golden pillar of light that soared into the sky. Quote. Legendary treasure chest. What a coincidence. The corners of Suzy's mouth curled up slightly. When luck comes, no one can stop it. It actually came to the side of the legendary treasure chest. Is there anything more coincidental than this? The other 4 aliens. In the next moment, I also discovered the golden treasure chest located on the top of the thousands of barren mountains. Legendary treasure chest. Mine is mine. Quote. One of the thinner figures, with sharp eyes like a knife, saw the treasure chest the moment he saw it. He rushed up without hesitation. Nollies. You should stop. The legendary equipment can only be mine. A titan tens of meters tall, with a purple spear floating in his hand, stabbed at the skinny alien without hesitation. Greedy sparks flashed in the pupils of the other 2 aliens. They set off one after another and rushed to the top of the barren mountain. Xiaoju, you guys go and kill a few people, and then take down the treasure chest. Suzy ordered calmly. Yes. The 4 heroes standing behind Suzy agreed. The next moment, it soared into the sky. Every hero stopped a foreign race in an instant. Xiao Wanqing's beautiful eyes are crystal clear. Young Master's P cannon is terrifying. What about these heroes? I don't know how strong it is. Report. 29%. Chapter 118. 4 alien races, open dark elves. Originally, the 4 aliens who paid attention to Suzy. When he saw a plant flying out of the human territory, he was slightly taken aback. He actually wanted to fight 4 against 1. What a bold move. But they obviously have rich combat experience. Not only did they not underestimate these weird plants. Instead, one by one, they stopped their rushing steps vigilantly. Steel walls. Suzy for 4 different races. Casta, identification technique, respectively. The data panels of the 4 9th level alien races appeared in front of them. Flame Titan. Race. Titans. Qualification. Purple. Grade. 89. Talent. Infinite strength. Core surge. Physique. 8 million. Agility. 7 million. Spirit. 5 million. Skills. Blazing spear. Moving mountains. Earth fire meteor. Introduction. One of the 5 attributes of the Titan family, the Flame Titan family is born with the ability to control fire. As expected of a Titan family, this head is really big. Compared with the Flame Titan, Suzy's height is as small as an ant. But his opponent is Xiaoju, an existence that has broken thousands of taboos. Being 850 is not an advantage. Suzy smiled. Far away, the moment the 9-leaf sword grass appeared, it waved a piece without hesitation. A sword leaf carrying fierce sword energy. Flaming Titan washbasin-sized eyes with constricted pupils. A blazing red flame rolled out from his right arm, and it slammed at Juya Johnchen. Mole family. Race. Spirit rat. Qualification. Purple. Grade. 88. Talents. Escaping. Extreme speed. Physique. 6 million. Agility. 8 million. Spirit. 5 million. Skills. Earth Dungeon. Shadow Claw. Fatal Strike. Introduction. Assassins in the Spirit Mouse clan, be careful about sneak attacks. Mole tribe. Suzy thought about it for a long time before remembering that he glanced at it in the 10,000 Races catalog. Although the Spirit Rat clan does not sit supreme, they hug the thighs of the Giant Dragon clan. I didn't expect to meet them here. Suzy couldn't help but look twice more. Have to say. This battle of Xiaoju Tianjiao opened Suzy's eyes. Races previously only seen in videos or books. But now it appears majestically in front of your eyes. Really feel novel. I don't know how the Puma tree will deal with it. Suzy remembered the records of the Mole clan. This family is the assassins of the Spirit Rat clan, and they have played miraculous effects in many race wars. Really, the moment the Mole tribe genius saw the catfish tree, he went underground without hesitation and disappeared. In such a situation, no matter how powerful the P cannon is, it won't help. Suzy shook his head. This is why the Lord wants to cultivate independent heroes. Hammer Goblin. Race. Goblin. Qualification. Purple. Grade. 88. Talent. Escape. Extreme speed. Physique. 6 million. Agility. 8 million. Spirit. 5 million. Skills. Meteor Hammer. Sleeping 8 wins. Introduction. Smart Sledgehammer. Smash your chest. Heavy Hammer Goblin. A fighting race among goblins, it is rumored that a heavy hammer has been nurtured since birth, as a natal weapon, and the double cultivation of embarrassing crystals. It is said that 90% of the strength of this family lies in the giant hammer they carry. Suzy rubbed his chin. Looking down the hill, carrying a heavy hammer goblin half taller than himself. It has a short body like other goblins, but it is not thin, but its limbs are muscular. As we all know, BBDF goblins are not good at fighting. But this family is the only exception. Very aggressive. It's a tough guy, but Shenliu is not easy to mess with. Under the gaze of Suzy, the heavy hammer goblin stopped and looked at the sacred willow high in the sky, with a fighting spirit in his eyes. With a great hammer in hand. Then his eyes flashed brightly. Next second, the whole person has disappeared from the original place. When reappearing, has appeared behind Lu Shen. At the same time he grinned grimly. The 3-meter-long giant hammer becomes 100 times bigger in an instant. The purple-black sledgehammer, hundreds of meters long and covered with mysterious lines, slammed into Willow God. Fallen Elf. Race. Elven. Qualification. Purple. Grade. 91. Talent. Charm. Physique. 3 million. Agility. 4 million. Spirit. 9 million. Skills. Fallen 9 arrows. Charming eye. Intro. Watch out for her eyes. It turned out to be the legendary fallen elves. Suzy's eyes widened. He looked at the fallen elf whose body was only covered by a few strands, the key parts. Fiery devil figure, cold eyes, and gray arms holding a black longbow in his hand. As expected of the legendary fallen elf, it is open. Suzy glanced at it and commented. Bah, shameless race. Xiao Wanqing took a look, with disgust in her cold eyes. It is said that this race likes to have promiscuity with all races, and it is said that even slimes can do it. My lord, be careful, Xiao Wanqing said with unclear meaning. That's right, instead of staring at her, master, why don't you look at me? Am I not warmer than her? B+. W at W. The little fairy also said angrily. Ahem, I'm just looking around, I don't have any other ideas. Suzy coughed twice. With all of you here, how can I have a crush on fallen elves? Suzy put his arms around the delicate waists of the two, and smiled lightly. Xiao Wanqing was shy in her icy expression, but the little goblin smiled and rubbed against Suzy's chest with a satisfied look on her face. Chi-Chi next to her saw her eyes flickering, envious. She also wants to be. But she is too short. The Lord may have to hug her. Talking room. That dark elf girl's gray eyeballs gradually glowed bewitching red. Compared to mind control with parasitic spores. I'm afraid I made a mistake. Seeing this scene, Suzy couldn't help laughing. Report. 29%. Chapter 119. Massacre, please enter the urn. Speak slowly. In fact, the time is very short. When Xiao Ju's sword blade collided with the flame-strengthened arm of the Flame Titan, the air seemed to become scorched in an instant. Boom. Loud blast of air. It erupted at the moment when the two powerful attacks collided. Suddenly, the ground under the feet of the Flame Titan suddenly shattered, and huge cracks spread outward from the feet of the Titan. Boom. Next moment, there was a look of disbelief in the Flame Titan's eyes, and then he was directly pressed down by the monstrous pressure carried by the 9-leaf sword grass, and knelt down on one knee. At the same time, the other arm burst into a torrent of flames. Turned into a monstrous giant palm in the sky. Shoot directly towards the 9-leaf sword grass. But the 9-leaf sword grass did not dodge at all. The second leaf of the sword grass cut towards Kang Ying in an instant. Brush. The huge flaming palm that was almost covering the entire world was directly broken into 2 halves from the middle. At the same time, the sword leaf of the 9-leaf sword grass cut towards the Flame Titan, and the sword light suddenly burst out. Click. Plop. That huge flame arm was cut off by the sharp sword energy. What? The Flame Titan's eyes widened, his face full of disbelief. But the 9-leaf sword grass, at the moment he was stunned. The sword leaf that had cut off his arm suddenly exploded with extreme speed, and slashed at his thick neck like a century-old tree. Boom. Next second, the 9-leaf sword grass appeared, 100 meters behind the Flame Titan, waved the sword leaf lightly, and a trace of blood was thrown out. Boom. Bah. The Flame Titan stared wide-eyed, looking at his own head, and slipped off his body. Blood like a fountain spurted out from countless blood vessels in his neck. 1. Suzy said calmly, having expected this scene. Chu Jia. The countless branches on the body of the catfish tree swayed wantonly, the eyes on the trunk narrowed slightly. He sneered disdainfully at the Tianjiao of the mole tribe who had escaped from the ground. Subsequently, the countless branches suddenly stretched straight, and then, like thousands of thorns, they pierced into the ground one by one. Then he paused underground for a moment, and then seemed to touch some smell. All the branches rushed towards a space in an instant. Originally hiding in the ground, thinking about how to sneak attack the mole clan Tianjiao. Suddenly his face changed drastically. Without hesitation, with all my might. Get off the ground. Boom. The ground was washed out a big hole, and gravel splashed. The mole tribe hurried to the sky. But haven't acted yet. His ankles were tightly entwined by a green branch. Cut. The mole tribe gritted its teeth, and cut directly on the branch with its sharp claws. However, the sharp claws that can cut off the hardest rock. But at the moment of collision with the branches, countless sparks were blown out. So hard. What kind of tree is this? A trace of shock flashed in the eyes of mole clan Tianjiao, a little unbelievable. But the next moment his pupils shrank suddenly. Puff. The severe pain caused a mouthful of blood to spurt out of his mouth. Look down. A blood-stained emerald green branch directly runs through its heart. Demon. Cause. Tianjiao of the mole tribe took a last look at the catfish tree. Then the eyes lost their luster. The second. With a smile in the corner of Suzi's eyes, he affirmed the fighting power of Pumashu. Catfish tree. But more than dandelion. Boom. The violent collision sound directly hit everything hundreds of meters around. Thick smoke rolling. Operator. The heavy hammer goblin's huge hammer bombarded Shenliu's body heavily. The hammer goblin smiled, showing a victor's gaze. No one can resist his blow. However, the next moment, his smile froze right there. The smoke cleared. The divine willow opposite him was unscathed, and his full-strength attack was completely blocked by the opponent with a wicker thick as an arm. Impossible. The heavy hammer goblin couldn't believe it, but then his eyes froze. The hammer that accompanied him from birth, lifted up by him. Next moment, the beating sound like a violent storm resounded in the air. Boom, boom, boom. The air is blown to make a crackling sound. Heavy hammer goblin used chaos wind cloak. 81 heavy hammers. Each weight and impact is accompanied by the bonus of the previous one. A full 81 superimposed damage. Enough to collapse a mountain range. The heavy hammer goblin took back the heavy hammer, bent over, panting heavily, and the sweat on his forehead couldn't stop flowing down. However, the next moment, there was nothing but terror in his eyes. I saw only a few slight scratches on the resisting willow branch of the divine willow. Green fluorescent flashes on it. It was ups and downs in an instant. How come? Hammer Goblin's eyes widened and his mouth grew wide. But Shenliu didn't answer him. Next moment, a faintly fluorescent Lu Yi was sacrificed by it, spinning in midair. Tightly just spinning at a feeble pace. It has already oscillated faint ripples in the space, and the space it is in seems to have begun to become unstable. But it only appears for a moment. After a fleeting moment, disappeared again. Ask for flowers. This is the Ben Ming Lu Yi knife that Shenlu has been nurturing. Its leaves are like knives, cutting down the pride of heaven. Wow, the body of the heavy hammer goblin was cut into pieces unexpectedly at some point. Scattered all over the place. The third one, it's a pity that it can't be purified. Suzi smacks his lips down, pointing arrow. After all, Shenliu is one level lower than him, so he cannot completely purify and erase his will. This is also Shenliu's first murder. How cruel. It's all in pieces. The fallen elves don't know what is the flower-like thing that stands in front of them. But the powerful aura coming from her body made her hairs burst. But she is not afraid. Because her real strength lies in her spiritual power. As long as there is life, as long as there is thinking, will be controlled by her enchanting eyes. So she launched mind control towards the parasitic spores without hesitation. Be my servant. With a single click, the fallen elves penetrated deep into the soul of the parasitic spores. This is where the fallen elves froze for a moment. She passed through that little body and entered its spiritual world. But below is an endless golden ocean. This spiritual power. The fallen elves seemed to realize what the golden ocean below is. Immediately, his body shivered violently, and he was about to jump out from here. But then she discovered, I can't move myself. Then she found that her spiritual body was drifting away a little bit. No, she watched helplessly as she turned into a spot of light and completely dissipated. Gudong. The parasitic spore shook the small flower bud, very happy. And the fallen elves, without the support of their souls, also collapsed. The fourth one is over too. She actually wanted to control the parasitic spores. Isn't this a big knife in front of Guangong? Seeing the parasitic spores, Suzy easily killed the fallen elves. Can't help but smile. Young master is too strong. Xiao Wan watched, and easily dealt with the 4 top race heroes. I suddenly felt a little more nervous. The sun is too strong. Nor can she be left behind. My lord, I brought you the treasure chest. As Xiao Ju said, Kai Jinbao, whose chest was wrapped by a leaf, was handed over to Su. My lord, do you want to open it? Chi-Chi is eager to try. Ever since I opened a mountain of treasure chests for Suzy, I have become obsessed with opening treasure chests. Now there is a legendary treasure chest. She really wanted to help the lord open it. No, first for now. Suzy smiled mysteriously. Hearing this, several people looked at Suzy one after another, not knowing why. We can use it to invite you into Wengchuan. Report. 30%. Chapter 120. Fishing, a small profit. Leading you into the urn. The little demon's beautiful eyes moved slightly, and when she rolled her eyes, she understood Suzy's meaning. Xiao Wanqing nodded slightly. Only Chi-Chi raised her head in a daze, looked at Suzy and waited for his explanation. Suzy rubbed Chi-Chi's head lightly, and Chi-Chi lowered her head obediently to enjoy it. As long as no one opens this treasure chest, it will always be displayed on the map. I think the temptation of a legendary treasure chest, as long as anyone with a little self-confidence wants to compete for a corner, right? Suzy smiled. Of course, this is a legendary treasure chest. There is a legendary item inside. Xiao Wanqing nodded, and said in a soft voice, her voice was crisp and sweet. So when the time comes, it will inevitably attract a huge crowd, and they will jump in like fish. Su, 780, Z smiled slightly, looking at the golden treasure chest in his hand. This is so timely. Use the treasure chest as bait to catch all the fish in the vicinity. Eat it in one bite. He had a hunch. This will be a heaven-defying harvest. Xiao Wanqing nodded slightly. With 4 top heroes and 2,000 P cannons, his strength is undoubtedly terrifying. Also, with my 4 heroes sweeping the formation for you, you can also raise your sun elves to a higher level. Suzy continued. It's a double-edged thing. Thank you, son. Hearing this, Xiao Wanqing knew now. There are also Suzy's thoughts for her. He immediately looked at Suzy with a deep affection. She can't repay the son's great kindness. She wants to take this opportunity. Grow stronger quickly. Try to help the son. We will be a family in the future, no thanks. Suzy warned her. Yes. Xiao Wanqing smiled lightly, like a plum blossom, beautiful and stunning. Then Xiao Wanqing took a step forward and shouted softly. Everyone, fight. Yes. The sun elves standing on the city wall. They naturally saw the terrifying power of the P cannon and the 4 plant heroes beside them. As legendary soldiers, I am very proud of myself. I yearn for this terrifying power in my heart. All of them have already sharpened their knives. Now, opportunity finally arises. Seeing this scene, Suzy nodded slightly. These sun elves are extremely rare legendary arms. Each one has terrible potential. When it grows up in the future, it will inevitably be extremely tyrannical. Heroes with Suzy as their support, help level up. They must be able to rush into the 9th level quickly. I don't know if it will attract the top 100 big fish this time. Suzy has some expectations. Just when the 4 aliens died, they had already received a reminder. These 4 are all in the top 3,000 of the killing rankings. There are not many rewards for source crystals and source points, but there are really many killing points. A full 6 million. Sure enough, the people on the leaderboard are still eliminated, and the harvest will be great. Open the list, Suzy said in his heart. Next moment, a data panel appears. No. 1. Blood Demon Race Morido, 8.99 million points. Position expandable. No. 2. Zerg Lark, 8.77 million points. Position expandable. No. 3. Angel Clan Keisha, 8.75 million points. 4th place. Terran He Wushwang, 8.6 million points. Location. No. 99. Terran Suzy, 7.7 million points. It has risen by 9,900, and it is already 99th. Hurry up. Kill another wave. I don't know how many times we can hit. Suzy looked at the rankings. The top 10 has not changed much. Now the battle has just begun. The gap between everyone is not big, but the further you go, the more concentrated your points are. At that time, the gap will gradually widen. After closing the leaderboard, Suzy checked this little harvest. From the 4, he has obtained a total of 6 million killing points, 50 square source crystals, and 10,000 source points. And 2 space rings, and 2 bags of everything. Palm flip. 2 storage rings made of crystal space stones and 2 gray storage bags appeared in Susie's hand. Unlike Terrans who have an inventory, these alien races also have their own means of storage. Among them, the storage rings and storage bags of the Shoxian civilization are the most popular in the universe because of their convenience and quickness. I don't know what's in it. It's impossible for those who can come to participate in the Battle of Xiaoju Tianjiao to be poor. Suzy said. The spirit probed in separately, and took out all the things in it. Clatter. One by one, the items fell to Suzy's feet and piled up into 4 piles. The first pile was full of ores of various sizes. Suzy squatted down, randomly picked up a piece of palm-sized, golden brown ore. It is unexpectedly heavy in the hand. Black stone. Quality. Blue. Mass. 10,000 kilogram. Function. Integrate into equipped weapons. There is a chance to improve the quality of weapons. Introduction. A bit expensive, a bit heavy. It turned out to be Wujinshi. Suzy was a little surprised. This thing is not cheap, and it has a lot of uses. And as the introduction says, integrate into equipped weapons, there is a chance to improve the quality of weapons. According to rumors, 5.5. As long as there are enough black gold stones, even purple excellent quality equipment. Ascension to legendary rank. Also because of this rumor. Wujinshi is very rare in the market. Whether it is true or not is unknown. But Suzy looked at the first pile. Among the ore that is several meters high, more than half of it is black gold stone. With this half of Wujinshi, Wanyuanjing started. If there is a need, it can even be doubled. Small profit. Suzy is in a good mood. The first pile probably belonged to the heavy hammer goblins, and only they have such a long demand for various rare ores. Suzy looked at the second pile. Some embarrassment. Original panties and D-grade bras of various colors, as well as various sexy clothes, scattered in piles. Report. 30%. Chapter 121. Goblin, Anchor of Civilization. FK, is this a fallen elf? It's a real joke. Suzy has all kinds of unheard of and unseen wonderful costumes and props. It was jaw-dropping. What is this? Xiao Wanqing's face turned red as she watched from the side. Her unit panel is an elf, and each one is a holy existence. She will never use any army token of the fallen elves in the future. Master, I saw some interesting clothes, shall we try them next time? Suddenly, the little goblin stared intently at those strange clothes, her eyes turned and she showed interest. Then put a hand on Suzy's shoulder, and whispered in the latter's ear with pink lips. The scent of the humid tropics made Suzy itch behind his ears. It feels like the little fairy is like a cute and attractive little cat, stretching out her paws to scratch her chest, making her feel itchy. But what makes people tremble even more is the words of the little goblin. Think of a certain scene 11 scenes. It's not impossible. If you're interested, there's no harm in trying. Suzy felt itchy Adam's apple, and swallowed a mouthful of spit to transmit sound. He's not a pervert, he was just a little curious about the function of these things. Good master. With a smile in her eyes, the little goblin said in a warm voice. Master, I'll go to weaving workshop to see if we can make this kind of clothes. After finishing speaking, the little goblin chuckled, waved her hand, and rushed to the city lord's mansion impatiently. Little goblin, Suzy thought inwardly, turned his head to glance at Xiao Wanqing, and was relieved to find that the other party hadn't noticed. My lord, I'm going to practice magic. Chi-Chi glanced at the direction in which Elder Fairy was leaving, and said suddenly. Go. Suzy waved his hand and didn't care. Goodbye, my lord. Chi-Chi smiled sweetly, and then there was wind under her feet, and she went directly after the goblin sister. She just saw Elder Fairy whispering in Lord's ear, and she didn't know what she was talking about. Chi-Chi is very curious. What? Suzy saw that there was something under a pile of weird clothes. Stretching out his hand to grab it, a bronze rust-colored token appeared in Suzy's hand. This is. After Suzy saw the 4 seal characters engraved on the token, his eyes widened suddenly. Young master, is it? Seeing Suzy's excited look, Xiao Wanqing couldn't help asking. I don't know, I'll take a look first, I hope my guess is right. Suzy temporarily suppressed the excitement in his heart, and checked its property panel. Civilization anchor. Type. Positioning anchor. World level. Zongqin world. Function. Records the world anchor point where civilization exists on one side. Introduction. An anchor point in the cosmic ocean, so you won't lose your way. It's really an anchor point of civilization, and it's also a mid-thousand world. Suzy ecstasy. Civilization anchor. When Xiao Wanqing heard this, a look of shock appeared on her icy face. Cosmic Sea. One wave churned, and I don't know how many universes rise and fall. The dangers are numerous. Among them, the most feared thing for countless lords is getting lost. Once lost in the sea of space, maybe he will never be able to return to Blue Star for the rest of his life, and stay in a foreign land. And with Anchor Point, you can get your positioning in the vast sea of universe. Then you can get the guidance of Blue Star's will. And civilization Anchor Point is different from the general world Anchor Point. It marks the birth of civilization in this world. Civilization is a miracle of the world and a treasure in the universe. In an unknown number of desert worlds, it is possible for a world of life to be born. I don't know how many living worlds. Only then can a civilization be born. And civilization Anchor Point is to record a world with civilization. What's more, this is an anchor point of civilization in the middle thousand world. What is a small world? What is a medium world? An ordinary planet represents a small world. And a middle thousand world represents a huge system consisting of at least 30 million small thousand worlds. And a world with a civilization that has reached middle thousand worlds. Its value is immeasurable. It is the middle Shendu who will fight for it. After all, every year Blue Star will, the civilizations found in the cosmic sea are limited. When assigned to individual gods, they may only be encountered once in an unknown period of time. As for no coordinates, come at will, such a person cannot come back because of the probability. After all, the area around the Blue Star universe has long been explored. Want to gain, can only go deep into the cosmic sea. But it also means getting lost and being in danger. And now what Suzy holds in his hand. It is a cosmic world coordinate. 243. No wonder he was so excited. With this coordinate, it is entirely possible to build an immortal family of gods based on this. One can imagine how precious this civilization anchor point is. It's unbelievable that a fallen elf would have civilization anchor. Anyway, it's mine now. Suzy smiled lightly, and put it into the inventory for storage. A resource place in the middle thousand world, he must go there in the future. Congratulations, young master. Your luck is really good. Xiao Wanqing was also happy for Suzy. It is an unprecedented opportunity to pick up the resources of a middle thousand world for nothing. Then Suzy looked at the other two piles. Most of them are green and blue quality items. Suzy didn't like it. Let Xiao Wanqing pick some favorites, and put them directly into the inventory. These things can be exchanged for source crystals from the outside world. Just then, there was a sound of breaking through the air. Someone is coming. Suzy looked up and saw that Dao's figure had stopped not far from the territory. He was staring at the treasure chest in his hand. Late update, this was yesterday. Report, 30%. Chapter 122. The provocation of the mountain titan, curious and greedy aliens. Barren mountain. Continuous streams of light landed on the ground from all directions, or stood in midair. Light fades, exposing one by one magnificent, powerful alien race. While they are vigilantly looking at the alien races in all directions. Seeing that the treasure chest under Suzy's feet has not been opened yet. There is a fiery look in their eyes. There are also other races, gloating at Suzy. With bad and gloating meaning. Finally got the treasure chest. People of other races might have opened the treasure chest and fled. They can't even find it. But Suzy is the lord of the human race. Its territory directly became the biggest shackle. Nowadays, whoever gets the treasure chest will be torn apart. He is dead, but none of them did anything, they waited quietly around. Just look at the flame titan whose head was cut off not far away. When dealing with a fallen elf who has no injuries anywhere on his body. Then no, the combat power of this human lord is extraordinary. Although they are all elites of various ethnic groups, they do not consider themselves weaker than others. But I also don't want to be the first bird, become the key target of the human lord, and be taken advantage of by others. Magic Scorpion Clan, Mountain Titan, Corpse Demon Clan, Howling Moon Wolf Clan. Suzy's gaze, scanning over these alien races, distinguishing the races they belong to. Among them were several aliens, who were of the same race as the four people just now. After seeing the tragic death of the same race, there was an undisguised murderous intent towards Suzy. Humans, I will unscrew your head and avenge my people. Quote. Beside the corpse of the flame titan, tens of meters high, as if the whole body is composed of brown rocks, a huge mountain titan said to Suzy with red eyes. The titans are rare in number, and the value of each one is immeasurable. Among the 10 titans who came to participate in the battle of Xiaoju Tianzhao this time. He is the pride of the titan family. But now the flame titan was actually killed by the lord of the human race. Master, do you need me to kill them? The 9-leaf sword grass floating behind Suzy heard the words. Dark anger is not easy. How dare you disrespect the Lord? Gia, where do you need to take action? I can suck him up now. I seem to have smelled the delicious blood on his body. Mashu looked at the tens of meters high mountain titan, showing a greedy look. If you absorb this mountain titan again, she is enough to step into the 9th step. Hearing of his 2 heroes, they all volunteered. Suzy smiled slightly and said, you take action to disable him, seal his strength, and let the Sun Elves kill him. Suzy easily arranged the fate of the mountain titan. Yes, lead the balance. Obey, my lord. 9-leaf sword grass and Mashu agreed one after another, and then rose into the sky. What does he want? The 2 figures rushed out of the territory. Naturally they couldn't escape the gazes of the surrounding aliens. When I saw those 2 figures, after surrounding the mountain titans one after the other, they were shocked. He's going to shoot a mountain titan. Some aliens said dumbly. I didn't expect that the lord of the human race was so strong. The mountain titan just said a harsh word, and he was going to attack the mountain titan without hesitation. Immediately, some foreigners became even more afraid of Suzy. However, many alien races looked at each other coldly. They also want to see Suzy's strength for themselves. It would be even better if there was one less competitor. Human race, how courageous. The mountain titan was furious. Before he could do anything, the human race actually sent 2 men to kill him. 1. Then I will kill you 2 first, and then kill the human lord. The mountain titan stood up abruptly, with a height of tens of meters, carrying an astonishing oppressive force. Huge imposing manner, the oppressive surrounding aliens have difficulty breathing. They all showed horror and stayed away from the battlefield of both sides. The mountain titans are known for their impeccable defenses among the titans. I don't know if those 2 heroes can break through their defenses. Some aliens said lightly. The 2 heroes of the human race are a bit strange, like plants, but how can plants have living lids? Suddenly a foreigner asked curiously. The plant lord in the human race. Could it be that this is the territory of Suzy, the human race that the Zerg has offered a reward for? A foreigner suddenly exclaimed as if he understood something. Its voice was loud and clear, instantly attracting the attention of all the foreigners present. Dejao. Suddenly one by one looked at Suzy with curiosity and greed in their eyes. There are even a few demons who can't help sticking out their tongues and sliding them at the corners of their mouths. I didn't expect him to be Suzy from the human race. I was so lucky that I ran into him here. It is rumored that as long as you eat him, you will have the potential to attack the God King. I wonder if it is true. There is a high probability that it is true, otherwise the Zerg would not have released a huge reward. Then let's not let him go today. All the aliens have good intentions towards Suzy. Suzy naturally saw it in his eyes, and sneered back in his heart. No one can leave today. Let's all become the resources for the promotion of my territory. Report. 30%. Chapter 123. The bloodthirsty cattail tree has risen to 7 ranks in a row. Under the ulterior motives of both parties. The other side, the magic catfish tree and the 9-leaf sword grass have already started to fight. Die. The mountain titan doesn't care who his opponent is. He only knows. He needs to beat these 2 to death, and then destroy the human lord, so as to avenge his compatriots. The moment I stood up, his arm like a dark yellow spar slammed towards the 9-leaf sword grass. His arm, which has already been cultivated to the peak, is enough to punch a mountain. 9-leaf sword grass was also not to be outdone, and turned around. An emerald green sword leaf, with a faint cold light, cut down with the sword light all over the sky. The fierce sword light made the eyes of aliens tens of thousands of meters away feel pain like needles. They all turned their heads, not daring to look again. At the same time, I was shocked. A grass. It's so scary. Its leaves are as shocking as a rainbow. Brush. Light and shadow pierced the dark night sky. What? A scream that resounded through the night sky suddenly sounded in the lonely world battlefield. The sudden and shrill 720 voice made everyone's hairs burst. When they looked back at the place where the sound came from, they all widened their eyes and showed disbelief. I saw the mountain titan with one hand covering his left shoulder, which was spurting blood like a waterfall. And his whole arm. It was completely cut off. That's a mountain titan. How could it be so easy to lose? Some aliens roared in shock. This scene is really frightening. That's a mountain titan. Among the crowd present, the strength is enough to rank in the top 3. Even on the killing list, it ranked 200th. You know, this is the ranking among the hundreds of millions of Tianzhou. Those who can enter the top 10,000 are all the top talents in this battlefield. Not to mention, he was also in the top 200. Now, a hero of the Lord of the human race BCAH made a move, and he was easily defeated. One can imagine, how strong is Suzy? This moment. The people couldn't help being terrified. They seemed to understand why Suzy didn't open the treasure chest, but put it there. He wants to kill them all. The roles of hunter and prey change instantly. Chapter. At this time, the devil's tree, which has not made a move, let out a terrifying laugh. The sound was like a devil crawling out of hell. It made many alien races tremble and be terrified. Under the gaze of the crowd, the devil tree laughed and stretched out two jet black branches. Ink-like branches stretch endlessly. In a blink, wrapped the huge body of the mountain titan. Roar. The mountain titan's eyes were bloodshot, and he exerted all his strength, wanting to break off the branches. But the branch remained motionless. The arm that wrapped the other branch of the mountain titan was directly torn. Suddenly, blood stained the sky. 5. Misfortune. It seemed to smell the smell of blood, and the demon tree became even more excited, with countless densely packed branches dancing in the air. The branch wrapped around the mountain titan inserted into his arm without hesitation, greedily sucking his flesh and soul. In the horror of the crowd, the majestic body of the mountain titan was shrinking at a speed visible to the naked eye. But the aura of the Pumashu has increased at a speed visible to the naked eye. Gudong, devil, devil. This is the devil. Seeing this scene, some aliens were already trembling with fear. Suddenly, I regretted coming to grab the treasure chest. Pumashu chuckled twice, and let go of the mountain titan's body. I saw. At this moment, the mountain titan has a sallow complexion and eyes of Chinese medicine. Boom. The huge body didn't even have the strength to stand upright, and it directly collapsed to the ground. Go, let the sun elves kill him, Suzy said to Xiao Wan, who was at the side. Xiao Wanqing was a little taken aback. Originally, she thought that she still needed a big fight. Unexpectedly, the mountain titan was directly laid down by the young master's hero. Her sprite just needs a touch-up and it's done. Go 10 elves and kill him, Xiao Wanqing ordered, and randomly ordered 10 sun elves. Yes, your lord. The big eyes of those 10 sun elves flickered, and their expressions were a little confused. They are completely lying and winning. The strength of the Lord is too terrifying. Subsequently, under the watchful eyes of many alien races, the 10 elves slowly flew out of the territory and stopped above the mountain titan. Next moment, each of them has a green bow in their hands. While bending the bow and pulling the string, an arrow of energy and light condensed on the fingertips. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 10 arrows were inserted into the head of the mountain titan in an instant. After the mountain titan's body twitched and struggled for a while, it stopped moving. At the same time, report, 31%. Chapter 124. The alien who regained hope, domineering Keisha. Shenliu understands. Volley turned to the alien race who had fled thousands of miles away. Next moment, a slap-sized Yingying Lu Yi slowly emerged. A hazy halo fills Lu Yi. The air is trembling, and the space is shaking with ripples. Sudden, Lu Yi disappeared instantly, when it reappears. But already thousands of miles away. For a moment. Across the space, directly to the target. Brush. The foreigner who was struggling to attack suddenly paused slightly. Next moment, the running body rushed forward a few meters again, and then broke into pieces. Hiss. Seeing this scene, the few aliens who originally wanted to run away were scared and took back their steps. Many foreign newspaper groups kept warm, watching Suzy vigilantly. I can't escape. What shall we do? What the hell is he trying to do? Trapping us here and not letting us leave. I don't know, but I have an ominous premonition. What else can I do? Wait for more people to collect the net together. He has such a big heart that he even wants to eat us all at once, and he is not afraid of being overwhelmed to death. Yes, this might be our chance. When the number of people reaches a certain level, it is not certain who will die at that time. Many alien arrogance. They could see through Suzy's thoughts at a glance, and they were feeling warm and cold. He's finished. The map shows that His Royal Highness Kesha, the third angel clan in the killing list, is coming. Not only the third Kesha, but also the top 100 are all rushing here. Our chance came, and when they fought, we took the opportunity to escape. No, the troops of the human race may be very strong, but the Lord is on the contrary. Before he became a god, he was very weak. Then I can kill him alone. The aliens who can come here will not have 1 or 2 whole cards in their hands. I was intimidated by Suzy before, but now I want to know the way out. One by one regain confidence. Young master, Keisha from the angel race seems to be arriving soon. Do we need to prepare in advance? Steel walls. Xiao Wanqing opened the location of angel clan Keisha, found that it was coming, and reminded Suzy aloud. At this time, Angel Clan Kaisha has a total of 10 million killing points, ranking firmly among the top 3. One can imagine, this must be a great enemy. Angel Clan Kaisha, I didn't expect to catch a big fish. Not only did Suzy not have any worries, he was even a little happy. If you kill the Angel Clan Kesha, his killing points, I'm afraid he can go straight to the top. What's more, there are so many alien talents here. I'm afraid his killing points will directly rise to an exaggerated level. Time passed bit by bit. More and more aliens, attracted by the legendary treasure chest, came from faraway places. But soon, they were introduced by other races next to them. Only then do I know. Here is a trap. There are aliens who don't believe it and want to provoke Suzy. But haven't acted yet. He was sucked clean by the demon tree that had been waiting for a long time, and then shot to death easily by the sun elf who called again. For those disobedient aliens, other people also looked at them coldly, watching them die. Xiao Wanqing didn't expect that. For a short time, all of her 1,000 legendary arms broke through and reached the 7th rank. This terrifying rate of evolution surprised her. Of course she knows, all this is done with the help of Suzy. If someone else, how could it be so easy to deal with these alien arrogances? Can be selected here, which one is not a genius of all races? Ask for flowers, but under Suzy's hero, there is no history of fighting back. Not alien weak, it can only be said that Suzy's hero is too strong. A stream of red gold light, dragging its long tail, strikes from a distance. Boom. As soon as it stopped, there was a series of thunderous explosions in the air. When the light fades away, a tall, graceful, and stunning blonde woman was revealed. The 2 huge white wings behind the woman flapped slightly. Here we come, Kesha from the Angel Clan is here, we are saved. It's better to be careful, she is the 3rd existence on the killing list, what if she kills us? Point 0. Look at the timing, running is the truth. Staying here is waiting to die. No matter who wins, we will be crushed to death by none of them. I don't know if Kesha can beat the human race Suzy. His heroes are too strong. They are not at the same level as us. You're blind, that's the angel race. The overlord race in the universe, an existence that can compete with the human race. And I've heard her name before in the clan. It is said that she is a rare talent in the angel race. Keisha flapped her wings lightly in the air, her eyes swept across the audience. I have some doubts in my heart. There are tens of thousands of alien races gathering here, and how can it be so peaceful? But just right, when she got the legendary treasure box, she took advantage of the opportunity to destroy these alien races. Her points will probably reach the top. Thinking like this, Keisha looked at the golden treasure chest. Human Lord. Keisha also saw Suzy naturally, but this did not affect her getting the treasure chest. Human race, hand over the treasure chest. Otherwise, die. 3 shifts for the time being tonight, and the missing ones will be made up tomorrow, woo woo. Enter. Report. 31%. Chapter 125. Collecting the net, Scarlet Pillar. Angel Keisha's cold and crisp voice echoed in the air for a long time. Gudong, awesome. Worthy of being an angel clan, it's TM's domineering. It's simply invincible. There is also a gap between Tianzhao. Compared with these overlord races, our races are still a little bit worse. But the heroes of the human race are not that simple. I don't know who will win. Brothers, why do I feel that there is something wrong with the way she looked at us just now? Keisha won't kill us after finishing solving the human lord, right? Brother, what would you do if it were you? Of course. Suddenly, many alien races were silent for a moment. 847. Take care, everyone. You can run as far as you can later. As for who can escape, it depends on everyone's fate. Human race, hand over the treasure chest. Otherwise, die. An indifferent and cold voice came to my ears. Suzy narrowed his eyes slightly, and looked up and down, this Keisha of the Angel Clan. He has a good figure and a top-notch appearance. All ethnic groups take all. Plus the glorious bonus of the Angel family, a proud attitude. It also makes men feel like wanting to conquer it. But its lofty attitude of indifference to everything. But it made Suzy very unhappy. It's been a long time since I heard such arrogant words. Suzy murmured to himself. At the same time, the 4 heroes of Suzy are ready to move. My lord, I can't stand it anymore, let me kill her. 9-leaf sword grass pointed at Keisha with a sword leaf. Let me do it, suck her, I will definitely be able to step into the 9th step. The demon tree barks its teeth and dances its claws. My lord, do you need me to kill her? Shenliu's gentle voice sounded in Suzy's heart, and she was not to be outdone. My lord, I'm coming. I want her to be my eternal witch. The excited lowly sound of parasitic spores also sounded. Seeing heroes vying for the first place, Suzy comforted. I have arranged this myself, so you don't have to grab it. Yes, my lord. Clear, the 4 heroes said in succession. My lord, what are you going to do? Xiao Wanqing tilted her head and said curiously. She who has seen the mighty strength of Suzy heroes and arms. Have absolute confidence in Suzy. Although Guantian envoy Keisha looks very strong. But obviously the sun is stronger. Simple, let's see if she can survive a round of attacks. Suzy said lightly. In fact, he had an idea in his mind. But for the time being, I don't know if this angel family is qualified. After all, after Suzy glanced around. At this time, tens of thousands of people have gathered around, and there are still people coming from afar. Enough. The pea cannon, I'll use the scarlet pillar. Suzy directly ordered. Toot. Beep beep beep. The huge pea cannons suddenly became excited. One after another, the muzzles of the 20-meter caliber guns all turned to the sky. Seeing this scene, Angel Keisha frowned slightly. The human race ignored her. But when those strange cannons opened their muzzles, her heart beat faster suddenly. This immediately alerted her. Angels are naturally alert to crises. Could it be that? Kesha frowned. Emission. Suzy waved his big hand. In an instant, countless scarlet cannonballs rushed to the height of 10,000 meters. When a pea cannon with a caliber of 20 meters and a rate of fire of up to 10,000 rounds per second. When launching the scarlet pillar with a strike range of 100,000 kilometers. What kind of experience? Xiao Wanqing didn't know before. But now she knows. Outside the territory, tens of thousands of alien races know. Angel Clan Keisha also knew about it. Almost instantly. Countless scarlet light spots filled the starry sky, like countless shining stars, shining in the sky. Gudong, are we still running? A foreigner swallowed his saliva and asked. Where are you running? Can you outrun it? For a moment. All the aliens couldn't help but look desperate, looking at the twinkling stars. Some alien races were frightened and paralyzed to the ground. And some aliens are crazily superimposing life-saving treasures on themselves. Some rushed outward in unbelief and madness. Suzy didn't stop me either. Because they escaped from the Scarlet Pilar's strike range unless they were in an instant. Otherwise it depends on fate. Angel Keisha's complexion gradually became serious. She understands. The one holding the treasure box is the top talent of the human race, who can be tied with her. 2.4. No, in front of 2,000 such terrifying arms. No race is sure of victory. Humans. Despicable. Keisha said to Suzy with a heavy face. After a little thought, she understood. It's all a scam. But Suzy looked at her with a smile, expecting how she would face it. Within tens of thousands of miles away from the barren hills, the alien race was heading towards the barren hills. They all stopped and looked at the scarlet light spots in the sky. What is that? It feels so dangerous. But when they saw the point of light grow larger, that's when I realized something was wrong. Report. 31%. 126th. The pure land on Earth survivors. But it's too late. Twinkling stars in the sky. It turned into huge pillars of scarlet light hundreds of meters wide. Hit straight down, hitting the ground. For a moment. Broken space. The Earth crumbles. Next second. An incomparably huge shock wave swept out with surging hot energy. Wherever you go, shrink the ground by 3 meters. No, what is this? There are alien arrogances, but they haven't acted yet. The crazy energy fluctuations swept across, leaving a trail of coke on the spot. The breeze blows and turns into dust. There are alien races who want to fly to the sky. But the surrounding space seemed to be frozen, making him unable to fly for half a minute. In the end, it dissipated in dissatisfaction. 10 minutes later. When the red light in the sky disappears, when the dust in the sky falls to the ground. Xiao Wanqing slowly opened her beautiful eyes, which were closed because of the dazzling light. When you see everything outside. Suddenly Sakura's mouth opened round. Within sight. All are pure land. People say that the ground is scraped 3 feet. But at the moment, the surrounding area is 12 feet deep. Pieces of crystal like white crystals of different sizes were clustered tightly together, shimmering with light. When she was looking at the previous, barren hill. But found, no trace of it could be found. Tens of thousands of meters high mountains. He was directly hit by several scarlet pillars. Little by little, it was eliminated into the ground. If viewed from a high altitude, a radius of 100,000 li. It seemed to be erased abruptly by people. All the peaks, cliffs, and canyons dissipated at this moment. Horrible, Xiao Wanqing murmured to herself, and glanced at the immobile young man in front of her. Unimaginable. Is this really a plant troop? Awesome. Suzy was shocked in his heart. Never thought. The power of this scarlet pillar is so terrifying. This is simply dying. My lord, will anyone still be alive? Xiao Wan's crisp voice sounded. Certainly. Suzy nodded without hesitation. This level of attack. At most, the Tianzhao of those overlord races will be injured, but they want to kill them. Impossible. After all, in the face of such an attack, Suzy himself has several ways to escape. Whether it is escaping into the bottomless underground, or relying on its own strength to resist. Suzy can do no harm. Certainly, this is for someone who has hundreds of times the strength of the 9th level. But Suzy also knows. Talented people like these big clans often have their own ways to save their lives. So want to kill. It's still hard. Of course, there is no way out. After all, as long as the firepower is sufficient, Suzy's pea cannon can blast the sky into a big hole. Crash. There was a slight sound of gravel, which seemed a little abrupt in the silent world. A piece of rubble was pushed away, revealing a bruised arm. Ahem. A weak cough sounded, and a figure slowly stood up. Kesha. Xiao Wanqing widened her beautiful eyes. She survived. At the same time, at the foot of the barren mountain, some figures gradually appeared, and some people climbed up from the ground. PFF'd. The alien race that emerged spewed a mouthful of blood from its mouth, and its face was pale. Obviously, although he escaped the blow of the scarlet pillar, he was also seriously injured. Suzy checked their data. Number 185. Dark Demon Angus, 6.85 million points. Number 169. Holy Spirit Race Austin, 700 square points. Number 297. Susan of the Asura tribe, 6.1 million points. Suzy glanced around. There are 13 survivors. No doubt, among the hundreds of millions of arrogants, these people are all top-notch. With a thought, a scroll with purple patterns appeared in Suzy's hand. Then the scroll shimmered. 13 lines of wheat-colored paper written in seal characters floated in the air. You four, take these contracts and ask them to sign them. If you don't sign them, you will kill them. Suzy said to the 4 heroes behind him. Yes, my lord. The 4 heroes said respectfully, then took 3 contracts each, and flew towards the remaining 13 people. The last one was held by Suzy in his hand. Young master. Seeing that Suzy was about to walk towards the angel Keisha, Xiao Wanqing stretched out her jade hand and grabbed Suzy's arm, with a worried look on her face. Lords are different from other races. Generally they will never step out of their territory. What's more, it is still a dominant race like the angel race. Don't worry, it's fine. Suzy smiled slightly, and patted the back of Kyu's hand lightly. Then flew towards the angel Keisha. It's just an angel family, and it can't hurt him. Young master, I will accompany you. Seeing that Suzy is still going, the 947th Wanqing Red Lips Weibo reported. Okay, Suzy had no choice but to let her follow. With a slightly happy face, Xiao Wanqing tightly grasped Suzy's hand and followed her. If Keisha makes a sudden attack, she is beside Suzy, and she can still block the sword for her. Although the Lord can be resurrected. But the pain of death is real. No one wants to experience death. The two were companions and landed directly in front of Keisha, the angel clan. How dare you come out? Human race. Angel Keisha's tone was cold, but she sensed an opportunity. Without hesitation, he swung the long sword in his hand with all his strength. Brush. The sharp blade slashed straight at Suzy. Xiao Wanqing's complexion changed. She knew that this angel family would not let it go. Subconsciously, he wanted to stand in front of Suzy. A mere angel. Suzy's complexion remained unchanged, and he gently hugged Xiao Wanqing. The right hand patted the sharp long sword directly. Time seems to freeze at this moment. The moment Suzy's palm touched the long sword. Snapped. A clear voice sounded, then under the terrified eyes of the angel Kesha. The sword shattered directly. Report. 31%. Chapter 127. Take it easy, I'm afraid of pain, sign a contract. How is this possible? The angel Keisha looked at Suzy with unbelievable eyes. The sword in her hand. But a demigod, he actually shattered it with a light palm. Then how strong will he be? Keisha wanted to step back in an instant, keeping a distance from Suzy. But before the wings behind her fluttered, an arm suddenly grabbed her jade neck and lifted her high. Signed it, otherwise, die, Suzy said in a cold tone. Keisha's pupils constricted, and she turned her head with difficulty, looking at the subsidiary contract. Impossible, how could the angel race become a subsidiary of your human race? When you understand that this is a slave contract. Keisha shook her head resolutely. is death. No one will be anyone else's slave. Ah, at the same time, a scream sounded not far away. Kesha looked at it, and Yishi's face changed drastically. Not far away, the demon poo tree is greedily sucking everything from a survivor. And the face of the person of unknown race twitched, as if he was enduring great pain. If you have the ability, kill me directly. Keisha's body trembled slightly as she spoke, her eyes erratic. Susie, he found out. This angel clan Keisha is actually scared. Wasn't your mouth hard just now? Why is it soft now? Susie glanced at the catfish tree strangely, and said with a smile. I won't kill you, I'll just let my hero kill you, maybe it can be upgraded. Keisha was short of breath, and a hint of anger flashed across her pretty cheeks. Clenching his fists, he said in a little shame. Then, can you be gentle? I'm afraid of pain. After Kesha finished speaking, she closed her eyes with a flushed face, not daring to look at Susie's face for fear of being ridiculed. Susie chuckled, a little surprised. This angel is afraid of pain. Xiao Wanqing looked at Keisha with a strange expression, a little unbelievable. I feel that this angel is a little cute. Let me tell you, I am the princess of the angel god dynasty. As long as you don't kill me, I will give you whatever you want after I get out. It was the first time for Keisha to travel far away, and she thought that with her background of the Tianzhao of the angel race, she could kill Xiaoju Tianzhao. But he didn't expect to meet such a powerful opponent from the human race. Oh, Susie raised her eyebrows and looked Keisha up and down. The current angel has no arrogance at all. If it wasn't for Susie who could clearly feel her trembling. They probably thought she was faking it. And, he unexpectedly caught a fledgling little princess from the angel clan. Who knows? Seeing Susie keep looking her up and down. A trace of panic flashed in Keisha's eyes, tremblingly said. If you like me, you can ask my father for marriage, but you can't use force. We angels are like human girls, it will hurt very much for the first time. I am afraid of pain. I need to be prepared. Kesha was very disturbed. She saw Susie looking at her with squinting eyes, and she was terrified immediately. Puff. Xiao Wanqing next to her was directly amused by Kesha, and looked at Susie teasingly. Susie is full of black lines. Is he that kind of person? Warner, do you think I look like a bad guy? Susie asked Xiao Wanqing unconfidently. Young master, how could he be a bad person, but young master is a gentleman. Xiao Wanqing shook her head and said softly. Warner still understands me. Susie smiled lightly. Hey, can a gentleman think of using a treasure chest to lure people into the bait? Kesha has 100 unbelievers in her heart. If it wasn't for her just now, she might have lost the divine artifact bodyguard bestowed by her father just now. Do you sign or not? Susie doesn't want to talk nonsense anymore. He is still waiting to open the treasure chest. Can I not sign it? I am the 108th princess of the angel dynasty. If I sign this, my father will be angry. Kesha wanted to refuse, but she was afraid that Susie would hand her over to that magic tree. Sister, you have signed now, and when the future master is happy, he can still let you go. Quote. Suddenly, Xiao Wanqing smiled and said to Kesha, and at the same time winked at Susie. Susie understood and said to Kesha, if you don't sign, you die. There are supreme rules here to cover up. Even if I kill you, no one will know. But as long as you earn enough killing points for me later, I can consider letting you go. Keisha was a little silent when she heard this. Just then. Puff. There was a sound of spurting blood. Keisha looked in the direction of the sound, and the corner of her mouth twitched. Far away, the one in front of Willow God, number 185 on the killing list, Angus, the dark demon, was directly chopped into pieces. Seeing this scene, Susie also clicked his tongue in his heart. Although Lu Shen doesn't usually kill, but once she kills Qian Nuos, she never dies completely. And the tragic situation of that dark demon directly frightened Keisha. Thinking of the pain of being cut into pieces by thousands of knives, she twitched in fright. I sign, but you must do the math. Kesha finally compromised. Her life depends entirely on Susie's face. What if he is unhappy? Susie nodded and handed over the subsidiary contract. Then stared at her. Sign her name on the paper. At the same time, Susie felt that he and Keisha had the same connection as Alice. Silly girl, you've become a subsidiary, how could I let you go easily? Susie thought in his heart. This angel Keisha is completely unaware of the dangers of the human race in the universe. Report. 32%. Chapter 128. A new way to earn killing points, great gains. Finally. After killing 2 alien races through the Pumashu and Shenliu. Other alien races obey obediently. After all, you only have one life, and when you die, you lose everything. Loosening Kesha's neck, Suzy smiled at Kesha. Since then, this Kesha is his. Feeling the extra imprints in the sea of consciousness, Keisha looked a little depressed. She just stayed in the court for a long time, feeling a little bored, and wanted to go out to relax. As a result, it is now scattered, waiting to go back. Her sisters will definitely laugh at her vigorously. And her father even expelled her from the royal family. Thinking of such a future, not only did she look darker, now she can only hope that Suzy is happy and can let her go. Don't be unhappy, not everyone can be my subordinate. Seeing her depressed expression, Sue said to her. Oh, Keisha let out a low voice, completely exhausted. But in the next second, she suddenly ran to Suzy, begging pitifully. Lord, Master, don't, I'm afraid of pain. She felt that her brain was so painful that she was about to explode. 487. Remember, now you are my subordinate, you must listen to the master. Suzy stroked her golden hair and said softly. This Keisha is a delicate little princess who is completely ignorant of the world. Less training. Yes, Lord, Master. Kesha understands. Keisha nodded fiercely with tears in her eyes. At home, where did she receive this kind of treatment? But now she is in front of Suzy. She is no longer that delicate little princess. Then go, before the end of the world battlefield, I want you to get me 100 million killing points, otherwise, you know. Could it be less? 100 million is too much. When Keisha heard the number, she stared at Suzy with wide eyes. 100 million, she had to kill day and night to complete it. With your strength, it's not difficult to reach 100 million as long as you work hard. Don't think about being lazy. Work hard to earn me killing points. Suzy glanced at her. Yes, district. Seeing that Suzy was a little unhappy, Keisha didn't dare to speak up. Goodbye, Master. After finishing speaking, Keisha flapped her wings behind her and disappeared in the blink of an eye. My lord, what if she doesn't come back? Xiao Wanqing watched Keisha disappear, and couldn't help asking. To this angel clan Keisha, she has no sympathy. Jungle of the jungle, if it wasn't for Suzy's strength just now, I'm afraid she was killed by the opponent's sword. Don't worry, she can't escape, I can kill her at any time. Suzy smiled slightly and said, no matter how far. As long as she signs the subsidiary contract, he will destroy her soul at any time. And it's the kind that can't be revived. My lord, I brought it back. At this time, the 4 heroes of Suzy brought the remaining 10 aliens. Owner, quote. Several people were very clear about the situation, and when they came, they knelt down on one knee and were very respectful to Suzy. Let go of all dignity. Suzy nodded and said directly, before the end of the world battlefield, each person has 50 million killing points, and they can't die. Understand, I don't want waste. Clear. Hearing this, several people responded immediately. Okay, you can go. Suzy waved his hand. Subordinates leave. Several people looked at each other, seeing that Suzy didn't humiliate them. BCEJ not only heaved a sigh of relief. Then everyone quickly left in all directions. Young master, it's amazing. After they left, Xiao Wanqing not only admired Suzy. She never thought that killing points could be obtained in this way. Not everyone can be like Suzy. She just had a quick glance. Unexpectedly found that Suzy's subcontract turned out to be at the Golden Legend level, which can be added to the list infinitely. Simply invincible. And not everyone has the strength of Suzy. Easily suppress the pride of the overlord race. Even if other lords have subsidiary contracts. Without Suzy's tyrannical strength, gathering some miscellaneous fish will not help. Haha, let's go, let's see what we have gained this time. Suzy smiled happily, put his arms around Xiao Wanqing's thin waist, picked her up and flew directly into the territory. A blush flashed across Xiao Wan's pretty face, and she buried her head in Suzy's warm chest. Congratulations, rank 9998 on the kill list, Bone Tribe, Orion. Get 300,000 source crystals and 10,000 source points. Congratulations, you killed the 8,765th place on the ranking list, the Evil Spirit Clan, you got 310,000 source crystals and 120,000 source points. Congratulations, kill. As soon as he returned to the Steel City wall, he put Xiao Wanqing down. A series of reminders sounded beside Suzy's ears. At last, Suzy calculate. The harvest this time was astonishing. Tightly just source crystal and source point. Just get 15 million source crystals and 2 million source points. Besides, Suzy also obtained 20,000 pieces of white quality equipment, 10,000 pieces of green quality equipment, 20,000 pieces of blue equipment, and 85 pieces of purple equipment. Among them, Susie found several purple life-saving props in the equipment. It's a pity that the people are gone before they can be inspired. In the end, it was cheap for myself. Moreover, Susie accidentally picked out some magic props among them, picked them out separately, and planned to hand them over to Chi-Chi. My lord, the treasure chests have been collected. At this time, Xiao Wanqing said softly in front of Susie. Susie nodded. Sure enough, I found tens of thousands of glowing treasure chests placed on the lawn. Come on, let's drive together. Report. 32%. Chapter 129. One gold and one purple, open the legendary treasure chest. Yes, son. Xiao Wanqing also liked the matter of opening treasure chests. After all, every time you open a treasure chest, it is a surprise. No one knows what they will come out with. Susie gave Xiao Wanqing 1,000 treasure chests and asked her to open them slowly. I am a divine thought. Moment. Hundreds of thousands of treasure chests are all suspended in the air. Click. The treasure chest was opened and turned into light spots and dissipated. The items in it were scattered all over the place and piled up into small hills. Congratulations, you have won a piece of women's clothing. Congratulations, you have obtained 10,000 source crystals and 200 source points. Congratulations, you have obtained 2,000 source crystals and 300 source points. Congratulations, you have won the building, Summer Palace Gold. Congratulations, you have obtained the building, Mingyu Lake Purple. Congratulations, you have obtained 100,000 source crystals. Damn it, the money has been withdrawn. When Susie saw the golden building, his eyes suddenly lit up. Since coming out of the trial, this is the first golden legendary building he has obtained. I actually won 1 gold, 1 purple, and 2 buildings directly. It seems that I am very lucky today. Susie couldn't help being very happy, and with a big move, he took them into his hands. Congratulations, young master, your luck is against the sky. Xiao Wanqing also smiled when she saw the 2 golden and purple buildings in Susie's hands. Since following Susie to see his territory, Xiao Wanqing once thought that she was dreaming. There are so many legendary buildings here that it is unimaginable. And now they have obtained a golden building again. Young master's luck is really great. Haha, let me take a look at its attributes. Susie was in a good mood and checked its data. Summer Palace. Type. Garden. Quality. Gold. Grade 1. Function. Calming, pleasing to the eye, fruitful. Introduction. Gather the most beautiful scenery in the universe and condense them in one garden. One step at a time, the winding path leads to seclusion. Not bad. Now the territory can become more beautiful. And it can also produce various spiritual fruits. Susie nodded secretly. His territory is too large. Although there are many buildings in the territory, compared to the huge territory, it still looks too empty. Now this summer palace is suitable for decorating his territory. Make a decision. Susie through Summer Palace and landed directly beside the main road. It turns into a majestic garden building. Through the carved walls, it seems that you can still hear the flowing water on the small bridge. Upgrade. Susie took out 300,000 source crystals and raised the Summer Palace to the 9th level. For a moment, Summer Palace exudes dazzling light. The Summer Palace, which originally had only 1 garden and 1 scene, quickly became huge. Soon, it fully occupied a space of 100 kilometers. What a nice view. Xiao Wanqing stood up and looked towards the garden. Singing birds and fragrant flowers, flowing water from small springs. The flower-shaped pavilion is full of purples and reds, competing for beauty. The rockery is full of mountains and mountains, lifelike. Pavilions, terraces and pavilions intertwine and reflect each other. If I have time, I'll take you shopping. Susie smiled and said. Okay, sir. Xiao Wanqing smiled lightly, and quietly hugged Susie's arm. There is another building here, let's put it out together. Susie said. Throw Mingyu Lake in front of Lord's mansion. The building grows larger against the wind. The bright moon lake, like a crescent moon, appeared in the territory minister. The lake is clear and transparent. Lake center. A wave of gazebos rises, a row of willows on the bank. Add a touch of green to Mingyu Lake. Mingyu Lake. Type. Lake. Asking for flowers. Quality. Purple. Grade 1. Function. Meditate and refresh, nourish the skin, absorb the moonlight. Introduction. Maybe bathing in the lake is good. Well, if you have a chance, you can try it with the goblin. Susie rubbed his chin and smiled slightly. Raise Mingyu Lake to the 7th level at will. Mingyu Lake, it doesn't need to be too big. For now, steps are enough. A total of 10 million source crystals and 1.5 million source points were obtained by opening the treasure chest this time. There are also 30,000 pieces of equipment of various qualities. Great harvest. Suzy is very satisfied with this harvest. Now I have about 35 million source crystals and 4 million source crystals in my hand. One turn of the territory requires 20 million source crystals and 5 million source points. The source crystals are enough. But the source points are not enough. Suzy shook his head. The descendants of other big families are also poor at the source. Because it cannot be traded, it can only be obtained by yourself. Accumulation is slow. Compared to them, Suzy's source crystal is enough to make them envious. Today is so lucky, so let's open the legendary treasure chest together. Suzy wanted to see if he could reveal what he needed. Palm flip. A golden treasure chest appeared in his hand. Xiao Wanqing also watched expectantly from the side. I don't know what kind of legendary equipment will be released. No longer hesitate. Suzy directly lifted the lid of the golden treasure chest. A bright golden light shot out, and then dissipated into dots of light. Only in the hands of Suzy, there is an extra golden building. Suzy took a look and his eyes widened. Planetary engine. Type. Engine. Quality. Legend. Grade 1. Function. Promote the territory to fly freely. Speed. 100 kilometers per hour. Introduction. Goodbye, I'm going to wander. Righteous. Report. 32%. Chapter 130. Taking off the territory, reaching the top. Planetary engine. When Suzy saw the data panel, he was slightly taken aback. He actually opened a legendary quality planetary engine. Young master, now our territory can take off. Xiao Wanqing was also very surprised. Unexpectedly, a legendary building on the technology side was opened. But apparently, this is exactly what they need. That's right, with this planetary engine, we are going to take off completely. Suzy's eyes shone with dazzling golden light, and he was a little excited. With this building, he immediately thought of countless benefits. Not to mention coming to a different world in the cosmic sea, and will no longer be restricted to one place by the territory. Tightly here, if his domain can fly. 333 is enough to cross thousands of miles in a short period of time. The speed of hunting will increase several times, dozens of times. His harvest will also increase exponentially. Without hesitation, Suzy integrated it into the territory. Next moment, planetary engine model in the hands of Suzy, directly integrated with the territory. Beside the main road, a control room full of mechanical colors appeared. Upgrade. Suzy has never been stingy with buildings that have a huge impact on the territory. Immediately take out hundreds of thousands of source crystals. Upgrade it directly to level 90. Suzy opens the building data panel again. Planetary engine. Type. Engine. Quality. Legend. Grade. 90. Function. Promote the territory and sail freely. Speed. 1 million km per hour. Introduction. Goodbye, I'm going to wander. The flight speed increased directly from 100 km per hour to 100 km per hour. The flying speed of some Star warships is just like this. With this speed, I am able to roam freely in the world battlefield. There is no longer any shackles. Suzy's eyes are full of ambition. For the strong in the human race, the biggest limitation is the territory. Once the enemy wants to escape, they can't even do a mortar. But now Suzy is different, his territory can be moved. Stand firm, after Suzy warned Xiao Wanqing. Then use the Lord's control over the territory to take off the territory. Xiao Wanqing nodded, with a solemn expression. Crack. Boom. There was a burst of cracking sound from the surrounding earth. The territory also shook for a while. Sudden shock. Let many rabbit people and cat people in the territory walk out of the house one after another. The little goblin and Chi-Chi who are trying on clothes in the weaving workshop in the city lord's mansion. Hearing the movement, he also rushed out quickly. Wow, sister, look, the territory has taken off. It's amazing. The first time Chi-Chi came out, she found that the territory was gradually rising, and she exclaimed suddenly. Master must have done it. The little goblin said with a smile on her face. Looking across the field, it was found that there was a curved lake in front of the lord's mansion, and there was a huge garden in the distance. And not far away is an iron box that seems to be made of metal. There are more and more buildings in the territory. The territory is becoming more and more prosperous. The little demon is very happy, and happy for the gradual growth of the territory. If viewed from a distance, we'll be surprised to find that in the sky, there is actually a floating continent. Under the continent, there are circular machines emitting scorching blue-purple flames. Counting down, there are thousands of them. The territory gradually calmed down at an altitude of 1,000 meters. Congratulations, son, you've reached the top of the leaderboard. Suddenly, Xiao Wanqing congratulated Suzy and looked at Suzy in surprise. As expected, Suzy nodded and opened the leaderboard at the same time. No. 1. Human race Suzy, 3000 square. Location, expandable. Second place. Morido, blood demon race, 15 million points. Position, expandable. Third place. Zerg Lark, 13 million points, location. No. 4. Terran He Wushwang, 12.5 million points. Seeing that his killing points had reached 30 million. Suzy was not surprised. After all, this time he killed hundreds of thousands of alien races, or some human races. Many of them are at the forefront of the leaderboard, and there are many killing points in themselves. And since Kesha became his subordinate, it was equivalent to death. Her kill point was assigned directly to Suzy. 30 million is reasonable. The first day has not even passed, and there is still a lot of time. Many people plan to kill at the end when the killing points are more concentrated. Suzy didn't relax because of being number 1. What he wants is not the number 1 this time. It is a killing point that others cannot surpass. But son, you are already very powerful. The killing point is twice as high as the second one. 17. Xiao Wanqing shook her head. The son is just too humble. Suzy smiled without denying it. When Suzy reached the top of 0.7. The whole world battlefield, countless people were startled. Damn it, the first place has changed, and it has twice as many killing points as the second place. How could it be possible to get so many points at once? Human race Suzy, this name feels a little familiar. 30 million points, how many kills? Devil, FK, the third angel clan Keisha is gone, so she was killed by the human clan Suzy, right? I remembered, isn't this the human race Suzy who was offered a bounty by the Zerg? He was assigned to our world battlefield. And he even reached the top. I don't know if the Zerg Larks will take action. Didn't they threaten to do it? They won't be cowardly. Didn't they threaten to do it? They won't be cowardly. Didn't they threaten to do it? They won't be cowardly. Didn't they threaten to do it? They won't be cowardly. Didn't they threaten to do it? They won't be cowardly. Didn't they threaten to do it? They won't be cowardly. Didn't they threaten to